Good afternoon, guys. It is Lee Gamer UK here again with some more Madden NFL 25 Ultimate Team. As you can tell from the title and the Bradley Pinion we've just sold, we have finally hit the 2.5 million mark. So, huge milestone. I've only spent about 25 quid. That's mainly on platinum packs and to use up our last 300 points that we had from our pre-order. So I'm still pretty much no money spent unless there's a pack that really translates um, to a value that means that I can buy players that are probably going to be on the team for a while, or gives me enough platinum coins, platinum players to sell to get the coins to be able to um, start wheeling and dealing, I guess, a bit more. Once you've built up a bit of a cushion with your coins. When I used to play Ultimate Teams way back when, I looked at it a bit like how I played World of Warcraft when I first played it. That I thought the game was the grind, but not the end game. And sort of with Madden now, and it's the same with any game with virtual currency, or indeed real life. If you've got money, you can always make money. You've got flexibility to be able to jump on any of those players that might be listed lower in the auction house that you could buy, or you've got the ability to um, buy players that will hold their value but still do a good job for you, like the limited players, especially limited players that are quite old now. So this is sort of what I was talking about earlier with. Right, so we've got 300 passing yards to get. That should be easy. 30 tackles. So yeah, I was talking about this earlier in terms of how best to um, play the auction house and do this sort of thing, or how to build your team. And I was talking about how my team is currently a an 86 overall. There are quite a lot of limiteds around the 86, 87 mark that should now start to becoming a bit more cheaper in terms of to fill a gap, that you won't see such a massive difference in price when you compare what you're going to ultimately be able to quick sell them for. It might be that you get the player for 25k or something, rather than paying for the player that will always go down in price. So I always like to look out for limiteds. I do quite like the idea of that Vita Vea, to be honest. And I mean, I think he must have come out yesterday as part of the Gridiron Guardians packages. I'm just going to have a quick look to see what he's going for. So, as expected, you're looking at getting on for a cool million for Vita Vea. If you did pull him, it's a no-brainer. You've got to sell the guy, really. You've got to get those coins. And, you can pretty much create a competitive team. I mean, in all honesty, you can compete with no money spent. If you're above average, I'd like to say that I'm sort of probably below average in terms of my skill set. I'm pretty good at the house rules, but that's just because I've played an absolute stack of them now. I was hoping to be able to do some of the solo draft stuff, but that looks like it's all been sort of removed. So we're gonna jump in and do our dailies. I think what we might do is start doing a few of these solo battles. I think we needed 300 yards and some tackles, so we haven't done one for a while. They're going to reset if they haven't already. Yeah, there we go. So we didn't do it. We haven't been doing any of these at all. I'm going to jump in and do this featured opponent on veteran, and just have a quick game, see if we can get these passing yards sorted. And also, there's a few game modes that just haven't tracked, because you can only do them in certain game modes, solo battles specifically. So I think now we're a bit further on. We've left a lot. We've left quite a lot of money on the field, let's say, by not doing some of these solo battles. I think, but you know, we've got a few things that we can do. We've got some Divine Guardians packs that we need to go through to get those energy cells, and I think this is one of the things that I always struggle with when I'm playing these games is when is the time to jump into online play. You know, when you're just starting out with your team, and you know you just haven't got any good players. You might have a low or mid 70s team. You know, you're just not going to compete at all. You know, I'd say you probably need a bare minimum of a mid to high 80s team at the moment. But a lot of the time, if you come up against guys like the guy that I played that absolutely wiped the floor with me, 70-0. I think it was like 49-0 at the half, and I managed to hold him to just 21 points in the second half. So I definitely improved, but a lot of it I was pretty sure was down to some shenanigans where in this position where Cam Chancellor is, right, we've got, I think this is probably why, oh yes, I reckon that's why Pat Tillman was showing, because I've obviously got Hamilton in as the sub linebacker. So I guess that does make sense. Because if you need a safety deep, but in your concepts where you've got two linebackers, so instead of having, yeah, I guess that's why it was. I've got him in the sub linebacker. So what we were going to do is we were going to look to see if we could pick up the junior Sayal, but I think a lot of what I was seeing was just because of the combinations of chemistries stacking, that you had quite a lot of players that that had the GG chemistry, but on top of that also had the team chemistry, and he was pretty much stacked from a Dolphins chemistry point of view. And you know, unless something else has happened with the cap now going to 30 or something, I mean, I don't think that's the case, but it could potentially have been that. But you know, he had the cheetah, so the 89 or 88 overall Tyreek Hill, who was lighting me up, and he also had Gronk. So he didn't have all of his players that were Dolphins players, because obviously he had the Gronk playing at tight end. But yeah, I definitely learned a lot from playing the game, and I think he figured me out pretty quickly. I mean, what I like to do, as I said before, is that I'm very much a run-first guy. I use a lot of motion to sort of try and see what sort of coverage the defense is in and get an idea. But I'll be quite consistent in my use of motion, so as not to broadcast that. It's like when I briefly played American football, I was always very conscious of the sort of psychological side of things, let's say, and the amount of times you'd see a player, especially receivers, that would like I mean, this is before you had like these super sticky gloves. So what a lot of players would do was sort of lick your fingers to give a bit of grip onto the ball, and the amount of players that would only do that and put a bit of stick on their gloves when it was a passing play, and they just wouldn't do it when it was a rushing play, and it was usually a really big tell to the defence that all it takes is one player to go, right, I know this is a rush, I'm not going to be catching the ball, so I'm not going to do my usual ritual. And I sort of just developed my own sort of ritual that I hoped wouldn't give the defence any tell on what the play was going to be, whether it was a run or a pass. You know, I would always pretty much try to be neutral in what I was doing, if it was a run or a pass. But I mean, there's a lot of those sort of intangible. Oh man, what am I doing? I thought I scored. Oh well. There's a lot of like sort of intangible things that you can do, like bringing your players down as well. So you know, if you know you're controlling one of them, you can bring one guy out of position. So if I was trying to say I'm going to blitz here, he's going to be in a zone, so he doesn't know what I'm controlling at this point. You see Rodriguez move. From the shotgun, CJ Stroud. There you go. That ball is free in the end zone. And you got a safety out of it. What the heck was that? Madden's so dumb sometimes. But only a safety instead of the defense getting a touchdown. Right, let's have a look. Is it going to show you the replay? Yay! Man.
Quarterback, Mike, you always have that clock in your head, but that clock has to speed up even quicker when you find yourself.
That's sapient technology.
Fortunately for them, that fumble doesn't lead to a touchdown, but instead results in the 2-point save.
But yeah, we can start working on our X factors and things now. We've obviously got the audibles in there for Mahomes, so as you can see there, bang 8. We can send one of our guys on, and you've just got a lot more flexibility. Just keeping an eye on the clock there. I didn't realise we were approaching the end of the second quarter. But yeah, so we've got so we can do a deep cross for Diggs. See if we can get something to open up here. At least get into field goal range, but it might be more. It might be more. There we go, touchdown. Beautiful. Right, we go for the pack because we do get some stuff for this. Nice.
It's up and through. And the 49ers will make it a 2-score game as they are now up 9.
But yeah, I'm by no means an expert. I think that a lot of what happens when you play in any sport in real life or in a game, obviously in a simulation like when you play in a computer game, it's not exactly the same, but what happens as you understand more is you sort of everything sort of slows down. And they talk about this with quarterbacks in the NFL that there's a massive speed difference between the college game and the pros. Like you're suddenly playing against a team that might have 4, 5, 6 superstars, and then the rest of them are just guys that are. They're never going to be big enough to play in the NFL, or not going to be fast enough to play in the NFL, and suddenly everybody's super quick. So everybody's suddenly even your big defensive linemen and offensive linemen are super quick. And it's actually insane just how quick some of these big guys move. Like it's crazy. When I'm watching it on TV, you don't notice it, and because everybody's big. You know, all these guys are 6+. It's only when you see a player like Kyler Murray running around and you appreciate just how crazy big everybody is. And because everybody's, you know, of a similar sort of relative size to each other, you don't really know just how big they are. When we went to one of the Jags games, it must have been probably about 10 years ago. I was with my son, and we were in the milkshake shop up in the designer outlet. That's the shopping centre just outside Wembley Stadium, and we were in getting some milkshakes on the Saturday night, and a couple of guys walked in with NFL tops on, and then an absolutely huge 6'7" guy came in, and I was like, "That's Tony Baselli." So he's the that was a pick. One of the best offensive linemen of all time, but definitely the best Jaguars offensive lineman of all time. And I was pretty much starstruck. I just sort of didn't say much other than recommended what milkshake I'd recommend he would have, and that was it. But yeah, when you're sort of up close and personal to a real NFL player, or albeit an ex-NFL player, it's crazy just how big they are. And it's like when you play the sport in the UK, you don't sort of get that. You don't, you know, everybody's just average-sized guys, and then you would get the odd guy that would start, and you know, like if we'd get a rookie come in that was like a 6'4" guy that wanted to play wide receiver, and you could just see the coaches light up that, you know, you don't usually see these sort of prototypically shaped players. I mean, that's why you see a lot of rugby players go, like the Welsh guy Rhys Sammet, is it, who started out on the Chiefs, or I forget the guy now, the Aussie rules guy that played for the 49ers for a bit, and you know, they've got the or Lawrence Okoye is a good example as well, the shot putter, that they've got the physical attributes to play the sport. They're big enough, but they just don't have the, you know, they don't have the football brain. You know, they're playing against guys that have been playing since kids. You know, it's so much more than the physicality. There's just so much more brain power required. That's not to say that there isn't in other sports, rugby, and like I say about about soccer, football, that I'm literally clueless to formations and you know, how various football concepts work. I just don't understand. You know, there's some things that I sort of know that, you know, I'm sure we all did, like when Southgate wouldn't bring on players, subs when Italy started turning the screw in the second half in the Euros final in 2021. But I don't really know what I would change from a strategic point of view, and I'm very vanilla in how I'm very predictable in how I play FIFA. That I will always take the ball down to the wings, try and do through balls to get it to the wing, and then cross it in. But I never get any success from it. I never score any headers, so I don't quite know why I bother. And then you've got some guys that will play you and do all the skill moves. They'll know all the little skill moves the players can do, and they'll know how to sort of change the formations and various things. Whereas there isn't that much, I guess, compared to American football. But when they talk about false nines and this stuff, I'm like, I don't really understand any of that stuff. But I understand offside. I can explain that one to you. But it's more of sort of how you change your strategy to overcome a team or a player doing a certain thing. And it's like when I used to play FIFA online, I used to be like, why are they taking ages to choose for us to kick off? And it's because they're changing loads of things on their team strategy to get them to play. I mean, obviously, I know certain fundamentals like the long ball game, which seem to be what my local non-league football team would. Well, a lot of the non-league teams sort of play that sort of way. They don't have the precision to be, like those great Spanish teams used to be, where they sort of play that very precise passing game. But all this stuff about how far to press when you'd have a midfielder be a defensive midfielder versus an attacking midfielder. I'm always like, when I bring a player on, I'm like, well, who's the next defender, the next attacker. So in FIFA I'd always be bringing attacking players on, whereas the reality of it is that you'd be bringing on defensive players if you're already winning and you're trying to protect the lead. I think I just understand American football strategy more. But I think it's just because you pick it. I've watched so much of the sport over the years, and since I started to get NFL Game Pass, I haven't really used it that much because I don't recently, because I think they removed it when DAZN took over. But they used to have like coaches film of the games. So when the season was over, well, during the season I'd watch the 49ers games. But I'd then also watch the coaches film, because you get a bigger view of the field. And if a player had a good game or a specific bad game, or something specific happened, that I would really focus all the plays on that player to understand what was going on, why he succeeded, what the other team didn't do, what the play calling was, why, what was causing the play calling to for them to call screens on 3rd and long. Like, I would do that. That's sort of part of what my play style would be. So when I've been playing those house rules games, I would often go with a screen on 3rd and long. But often it's something that I would criticise quite a lot. If my team did that, I would expect something more aggressive. And this guy here, Kyle Shanahan, he's quite well known for being very conservative from play calling, especially when he's playing with the lead. But at the same time, I can understand when you've got so much at stake that you don't necessarily want to be like a team that Oh, we've got some stuff levelled up there. That's good. Nice. Legendary options pack. I can't remember what that is. That's a boom or bust. We got an energy cell, which is good. But yeah, you don't want to be one of these teams that sort of like put the hammer down and put the run the score up like this guy did to me in the 70-0 loss. But at the same time, it's about trying to make sure you protect your lead. It's like Shanahan's Falcons team when they were up 28-3 against the Patriots. And, this is 3 Super Bowls he's been involved with where he's had a 2-score lead very late in the game, or at least a 2-score lead, and he hasn't won any of them. And this year's 49ers, you can sort of see that when we haven't got McCaffrey, this team's offense is all about McCaffrey. Defense seems to be playing well, but even in last night's game against Seattle, I haven't watched that game yet and totally forgot that they'd actually played. So I'll probably watch that later just to get an idea for how they went. But it looked like one of those games that we could have threw away it again at the end. That it was like 29-23 or something towards the end, and in the end we got a touchdown and put it out of reach. But the times that we've lost those sorts of games, the Rams game earlier this year was similar to that, and a lot of it does come down to play calling. But if your offense is so centered around one player like it is with McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, your other players, star players like your Ayuks and your George Kittles, are suddenly being marked, and this is why we saw Juwan Jennings have such a great game against the Rams when he got the team of the week, just because he wouldn't have been as marked up as Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. But just having those superstars on the field keeps the defense honest. That you've got to be aware. Look, Christian McCaffrey's in the backfield here, and it just opens up the entire playbook. Whereas we've had to probably be quite conservative just due to injuries. But anyway, let's have a look at what we've got. 500 coins from our legendary rookie, 150 seasons tickets, options pack, and a mega cell. Right, we're going to do a thing first. I think this is a boom or bust. So, we're definitely going with the boom or bust pack. We've got to do it. We've got a legend, and it's an 83 William Roaf. So, that's a bust, but we're probably going to be able to sell him for about 20k, I would have thought. So, it is what it is. We've got some season tokens as well. We might try and do another one of these. I think it's going to reset in about 9 minutes, so it may be we hold off a little bit. We needed to open the mega cell, so I'm just going to quickly jump in and do that. We should be able to upgrade our guy again and maybe get another boost in our GG chemistry. So I'm just going to take a quick look at that. So we've got to go to lineup, and then we've got to go to defense, and we've got to edit Kyle Hamilton. Right, so we should, as you can see, we can get this guy up to 95. I'm pretty sure the guy that I played yesterday had him at 95, or 2 days ago, which makes me think that he must be a spender. So a no money spent guy. Right. This means we can probably hit 7. It does cost you 25 training to change this, though. This is one of the things that people have said to sort of hold off doing the upgrades. So 8 components, so 1 to 7. Don't quite know. I saw kick power, kick accuracy, stamina, strength. So 7 gives you quite a lot of stuff. Is that right? 2 agility. I mean, what we're going to do, I think, is just check. So where's his agility? Special catch +1. So I'm not seeing much boosted here, so I'm not sure whether he actually gets boosted. Let's have a look at one of the other GG guys. Reed Blankenship. Let's have a look at this guy. So attributes, here we go. Right, so where's agility? 81. So he's a +2 on agility. So if we upgrade Cole Hamilton, we'll put him on with 7. Yeah. Or does that mean you don't get anything? Because you wouldn't get a +2 on all this, would you? Boost all players. Yeah, so I don't know, really. Do you actually get anything? I mean, we're going to do it. So, I don't quite know how that works. I mean, we'll check our Reed Blankenship. I'm expecting that his agility is still +2, so yeah, I don't quite know what that upgrade actually does for you. It's a bit of an odd one. There we go. What we were going to look for is maybe upgrading our Cooper de Jean. We've got 2 more upgrade slots to go. We've got 2,787. I think because he's a cornerback, it would be nice to get him upgraded. So we've got like a full quota. What I want to do quickly is just double check how much that costs. Season ticket. So to go to 88. So 880, 880. Because we did want to. I mean, based on what we had just with that boom or bust pack, it's honestly, I think it was this one that people were getting some look out of 580 pluses. But do you want to do you want to take the risk on that when you can, guaranteed to get an 88 or an 89? I don't know. Are we at that point now where we're going to start getting updated players anyway that are going to replace them? It's hard to tell. Right, what time are we now? So we haven't had our player reset. So we've got a bit of time to kill. Just getting a quick look on the auctions to see what we've got in the way of middle linebackers. I think that's where we could really do with like Reinitschke might be a nice one to go with. I mean, we're already at an 86, but he's going to benefit from some of that Gridiron Guardian chemistry. Quality, let's knock it up to 87s. So Patrick McQueen, there's the Ray Nitschke. Don't think we've got many options at 49er. But here we go, like I was saying before, that if you wanted to go with a Bobby Wagner, you can see that his Redux is 260. His limited is 390. So you're essentially getting him for, I think they're quick sell for 350. So you're getting him for 40k rental. And if you're a Seahawk, building that Seahawks chemistry, you can get six of these guys that you could fill your team with, and you're going to get your money back later on. But there aren't many. There aren't many of these guys that. There aren't many options for the 49ers. Like, we haven't got a Fred Warner or a Dre Greenlaw. I mean, if we look at 88, 89, we've got the 89 Nitschke there, Wildman, but he isn't a limited. Ivan Pace, Troy Anderson, Team of the Week, Tarek Hendricks. There's the Junior Seau. So this is the guy that beat me. Was using this card, I think, with Dolphins chemistry. So he hasn't got the GG chemistry. So not sure if there's a higher powered card, but he could be the best in slot, as they say. We're not going to be seeing any 90s yet, are we? Oh yeah, we've got the Reinitsky limited Wildman that's got an insanely much better zone coverage than his 89 variant. But I think that the other thing that happens as well to be aware of with Madden is that you can have a player that's playing really well, and I swear that they lower his effectiveness, not just by having other players like on D. Let's say you've got you had the AKA cheater, and you were playing really well with him. You were getting loads of the ball when he first came out. Now you might find that he isn't playing as good. I don't always think that's because you've got increases in the defensive players marking him. It's because new receivers have come out and EA just changed things slightly with how they play. Because you can have a really good player that's a 90, but EA have just given strange skills to them. Or you can have a player that doesn't play in that position, like an AKA, an out of position player. Never liked those, the out of position stuff. Or you've got a player that doesn't actually play that position in real life. He's actually a linebacker, but they've put him in as defensive end or something. But what time are we at? Right, we've gone past R4 now in the UK, so I'm just going to have a jump out to see if they've updated the store to give me our latest OneCoin update, and they have. So we're just going to quickly spend that OneCoin to see what we've got here. So we've got a Tony Pollard, 78. He's going to go for not a bad amount, in all honesty. Didn't buy any packs yesterday, so I think I might just go and buy a couple of these gold cards. So it is going to tip us back below the 2.5 mil, but we'll list a few of these. We've got a fair few gold players we still need to sell as well, so we'll probably try and list those a little bit later. There's not much point doing it now. There's not many people on across the pond. Right, we've got a platinum. And a 77, that's 3.5k, I think. There we go. So we will try and stick him on for just below his historical median, but always nice to see those profits from platinum players. We'll just do another 2 after this, I think. We haven't really hit anything other than Stanley Morgan. That's a name that reminds me of the Patriots. Not sure if he's any relation. We'll just do this one and one more after this. See if we can get lucky. Don't think we will. It's not looking good. We haven't really hit any elite players, or many elites. We've probably had about 10 elites over the time we've been opening these. So definitely not as profitable as the old gold pack used to be. I think I'd prefer to sort of to buy them all and then open them all rather than having to buy them each time. We do the old one for good luck. Let's have a see. Right, we've got a Buffalo Guard. It's not too bad, I suppose. It's listing for 2.8, just below the median. And then, because he was profitable, we'll have one more go. We're now hitting the dregs. So I think we will get the season stuff done. We'll just have a look to see how far we are towards season 2 daily. I think it was passing yards, was it? Yeah, passing yards and 30 tackles. So we'll come back and crack on and do some more of that later. I will leave it there for now. Thanks for stopping by and watching, and I will catch you again in the next video.